we're going to be looking at some new language for H941. It's mostly centered on the poultry exemption and how we want to express that. We've also added, I think we've added from the last version study group, or maybe that was in.
It was in, yeah.
Okay. And then there's, I know, some other ideas that have been bouncing back and forth. Rabbits, for example, we want to just talk about before we wrap up. Ideally, so this is on action this afternoon, and ideally, if the committee is able to come to an agreement, we would move forward with amendment with language, then have it ready for the full house to look at today. Well, let's see where we are. So Bradley, if you want to bring it up.
Bradley Showman, Office of Legislative Counsel. So first, there was a quick change to the purpose section. And so just going over that really quickly for you folks, we're on page 2, line 13, for the purpose of section 2 of this act, which is the amendments to the Required Agricultural Practices Rule, or excuse me, not amendments to the Municipal Regulation of Agriculture. Its intent of the General Assembly to overturn the holding in Taft Street and to clarify that municipalities lack authority to regulate farming or the construction of farm structures as set forth in 24 VSA 4413D. It said to clarify a municipality's ability to regulate. And those are observational equivalents in terms of the outcome. But this way it just kind of matches that municipalities lack the authority. And then you look at the statute, it says a bylaw shall not regulate. So it just kind of matches the tone beat for beat there. And so this is more of a conforming change. Okay, the meat and potatoes of today's change is a change to the poultry section. So as a reminder, and to correct some testimony I did yesterday, so the poultry exception is amending 24 VSA 4412, and it starts off by saying notwithstanding any existing bylaw. So that means that this will supplant existing bylaws that would be contrary to this exception. So if there's a bylaw out there that prohibits poultry then this would essentially void that bylaw and supplant just to clarify that piece. And so no bylaw shall have the effect of prohibiting or assessing a fee for the raising, feeding, or management of a poultry flock, excluding roosters or ratites. So ratites are your emu and ostriches. For personal use donation, excuse me?
Cassowaries.
While we're there, do you have a question? Which should that be and? How would that work?
You could change it. Yeah, it could be an and. So, a municipality.
Or does it make sense? Am I missing something?
It or makes it sound like either or. You can either exclude roosters or you can exclude.
Exclude both.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
The and.
Well done, Bart.
All right, we'll deal with that.
Sorry.
Yep. Okay. Good to flag.
And for personal use, donation, or sale, at minimum, no bylaw shall have the effect of prohibiting the keeping of less than 12 chickens or a number determined by a municipality, whichever is higher. Municipalities may consider a parcel size to establish other limitations on the number of poultry. A bylaw may establish a numerical limit of any poultry to be as large as the minimum number as enumerated in the Section 3 of the Required Agricultural Practices Rule, regardless of parcel size. So what this does, based on instruction that I received, is
for me, just to be clear.
Yeah, thank you. Is to changes the limit of chickens, or changes the number of chickens from 6 to 12, so it increases that. It gives instructions that municipalities may consider parcel size. It doesn't limit the consideration to only parcel size. It just says may consider parcel size to establish other limitations on the number of poultry. And so it just sets the floor saying that a poultry flock must be at least 12 chickens, right? And a bylaw may establish a numerical limit of any poultry to be as large as the number enumerated in the RAPS, regardless of parcel size. Now, the section 3 of the RAPS, I can actually show it to you because it's in this bill. So I'm going to scroll back down. You'll remember, so this is the numerical limits that's set forth in the RAPS. And so it just happens to be in this bill. So I'm just scrolling down to show you. And so it does your, goats, swine, geese, what have you. But remember that, and we often kind of gloss over this piece, but these number thresholds kick in on parcels that are no less than 4 contiguous acres in size, right? And so to be eligible for regulation by the RAPS, and you have this number of animals, you have to also have this other criteria of having no less than 4 contiguous acres in size. So I'm going to scroll back up to page 6. So the goal was to kind of say, okay, you could set the numerical limit up to the number in the RAPS, but without also tying it to that parcel size. So we just say regardless of the parcel size, the most number of a given bird that you can have is set forth in the RAPS. So you can look at 100 ducks, radites are not in, 100 laying hens, things of that sort.
Geese.
Yeah, geese. And so that was the goal there in that piece. And I think that's it.
So let me just say a little bit about my thinking here and giving that direction to Bradley. We heard that the Senate language and the language, honestly, that we've been looking at didn't necessarily provide clarity to towns on, what is a small flock? So the Senate language said a small flock, and we said can't prohibit, which wasn't clear whether that meant a town could even set a number or not. We were a little hesitant to put numbers in just because we heard from farmers that they didn't want to be restricted artificially. And at the same time, we wanted to not put in a number that was, that didn't make any sense at all, that came out of, thin air. So the RAPS numbers are, as Bradley just mentioned, they're set for 4 acres or more, but they do provide a set of numbers that already exist in statute that could be used as a reference that makes some kind of sense, perhaps. There's nothing here that says, so to be clear, the municipality could decide 99 chickens is going to be our limit, or they could decide 50, or they could decide 12, or any number in between. We're giving them that leeway here, but we're not imposing a lower number. And we're also not just leaving it to their imagination by saying 12, where they might decide by default that, okay, we'll go with 12. But we're saying, you can go anywhere up, it's up to you. So I think that part of the concern there was on having towns anchor on a lower number where that wasn't our intent.
Would this allow a municipality to set, lots are all different sizes. So someone has a 1/4 acre lot, they can have 12 chickens. They can't tell them they can't have 12 chickens. If you have a bigger lot than 12 and you have an acre, the municipality maybe could say, for lot sizes 1 acre or more, you can have 25 chickens or 50 chickens, up to 25 or 30 chickens. This allows that flexibility for the municipalities.
Yes.
Okay. And this allows the municipalities stupid low battery. The bylaw may establish a numerical limit for any poultry. So if a municipality, can they deny the keeping of turkeys, or they have to allow turkeys, but they can set a number?
So the way this reads is at minimum, they have to allow you to keep 12 chickens. And so that sets the floor for the 12 chickens. And so a reading of this is that a municipality could prohibit other birds, other poultry that's above and beyond that, so long as they don't prohibit the 12 chickens. I think that that's reasonable. People can disagree with that interpretation, and it might be up to a municipality to have to set those standards and defend them if someone wants to farm something in addition to 12 chickens.
And how many municipalities though wanna? I mean, there's some, and by design, they're high density and I can understand their wish to have some autonomy over there for their neighbors.
Mhm.
You know, because it can't always be about me.
Hmm.
It's gotta be about my neighbors as well. And then other municipalities may say, yeah, you can have 2 turkeys or 3 geese, or as long as your geese aren't attacking children waiting at the school bus. We know how geese can be. Cobra chickens. You know, so, yeah, this works for me. I think it shows our original intent and has great insight to it.
Yeah, I want members to ask Ledge Council here questions, what if questions or hypothetical questions, because I know you hate, but I think it's important to.
Hate's a strong word. Struggle with sometimes.
Representative Bartholomew.
This only applies if you aren't covered by the wraps, right?
That is correct.
And so the way I read this is it says municipality can't prohibit other type of poultry except for ratites. But they could say you can only have 1 turkey or 1 duck, or is that,
I think
that they could do that?
I think that that's right, because your poultry flock is the 12 chickens at minimum, and then allowing you to keep other poultry. They could say 1 turkey, 1 goose, what have you.
1 guinea fowl.
Yeah, or something like that. If they so choose to make that restriction, they don't have to make these restrictions, and not all municipalities do. Some do, but not all municipalities do.
Like, the comment I would have is, 12 is arbitrary, but most of our stuff, you have to come up with an arbitrary number somewhere. But I don't know if we were forced to defend 12, I'm not sure how we would do it, but.
So there's a dozen eggs in a carton.
It's a nice.
That's
a good one for me. I think 12 is a reasonable number, but why 12?
Yeah, I mean, so yesterday arbitrarily, we had 6, and it was pointed out that if you are getting your chickens with, some people do, maybe many people do, from a farm supply store, I think 6 is a typical number, and if you lose one, if a couple of them turn out to be roosters and you can't keep them, then you might want to start with 12. So.
Probably have 2 questions. First, the part where it's may consider parcel size to establish other limitations. Could the municipality, do more of like a density-based criteria where it's like 1 chicken per 50 square feet with that? This says parcel size, not necessarily land base.
Yeah. I mean, they could. I think it is. It says may consider parcel size, so it doesn't say only consider parcel size. And so I think that they could set per square footage as long as they had the minimum of just 12 chickens. And then, if you have 10 square feet of space per chicken, or whatever, what have you, they could do that on top of it.
My other question is just to clarify, if you don't qualify for the wraps, then livestock could be prohibited.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So if you're not regulated by the RAPS, then livestock is could be prohibited.
Other questions? Well, while we're here then, I think we may have had a committee discussion about rabbits. I know that some people mentioned in this room, rabbits, but I don't remember if it was, formally or informally. So a request has been made to include rabbits. They're not poultry, so we would need to, add rabbits to the list. And essentially say that a municipality can't prohibit, rabbits. If we do that, we want to be mindful of the fact that we've come up with this is a little complicated here, the solution that we're proposing for poultry, and we have to figure out, how would rabbits fit in there? There is a number for rabbits also down the list in the wrap section. So let me just ask, and I'm happy to hear whatever people think about, does it make sense to allow rabbits? Or I mean, to prevent a municipality from for prohibiting rabbits. Representative Boswell.
Rabbits are a highly intelligent animal, about the same as a cat or a dog. And in our culture, for the majority of people do not eat rabbits in our culture. Some people do. It's a small minority. We have the opportunity for people who raise rabbits to have up to 30 of them if they're following the RAPS. I just don't see the need to incentivize increasing rabbits as a dietary option in Vermont. And that would be my thought. I would vote again. I would like to divide the bill so that I can vote against this if it gets changed, because I feel strongly about this.
Representative Bartholomew.
As I've already said, it seems like the kind of thing that if we discover municipalities are prohibiting rabbits, we can address this later. But rabbits generally, I don't think we would want free-ranging rabbits because we don't know about their invasive issues and what damage they may cause to neighbors, and they did, and they can get out. So most rabbits raised are going to be raised in cages, and I can't imagine municipalities are going to say you can't have a few rabbits in a hutch in your backyard. It just doesn't seem likely. So it just seems like a solution looking for a problem to me. And we haven't had enough testimony on the potential effect of free-ranging rabbits to ecosystems. We haven't had any testimony.
Feral.
Rabbits, yeah.
Thank you. Go ahead, Richard.
One breeding pair of rabbits can produce dozens, potentially over 80 to 100 offspring in a single year. A doe can become pregnant again just 24 hours after giving birth. Their gestation period is 28 to 31 days. So to your point, Bartholomew, that if you had a pair of rabbits that escaped, it could look like my wife's hometown in Pennsylvania with rabbits all over the place. And these are cottontails, so they're wild rabbits. But and then you got to take that into consideration too, the indigenous rabbit population in parts of our state. Up where I live, we only have snowshoe hares. We don't have cottontails, but you go other places in the state, they do have cottontail rabbits right in municipalities and a wild rabbit population. So I don't think, and I agree with you that rabbits are a rather simple animal to raise in a rabbit, hutch. And warren, you can have a warren of rabbits in a hutch and they're quiet. And I don't, and they're neat animals, they're not hard to take care of and, you know, so I don't think it would, you know, what problem are we trying to solve? I agree.
Other thoughts, Representative Britt?
Personally, I'm okay with keeping rabbits. Nature of the bill is that what we're trying to do is to give people the ability as much as possible to be able to grow their own food. And if that's a food source that some are talking about desiring to have in there, then you know, they're also used for fur. You know, looking down the road, I'm okay with having that included in there. They're relatively easy to, in terms of, you know, geese are more violent than rabbits, I think, you know.
For sure.
You know, in terms of human friendliness, neighborhood friendliness, they're relatively innocent. The reproductive capacity is definitely something to be mindful of. But I think a municipality can regulate them properly, but I don't think they should necessarily be prohibited. So I'm okay with having those included myself.
Other comments? Representative Brigham?
I think, so what we're doing here, the municipality still has some right to regulate these creatures. I mean, I would think they would want to regulate fenced yards. You know, you don't want any type of animal running all over the neighborhood and stuff, so. You know, I don't have a real problem with rabbits, I don't know anybody. My 70-odd years, it raises them to eat. I used to shoot a few and eat them. Too much work, so. I guess I'm all right, but.
I'm fairly agnostic on this, but I kind of say we don't need to include them in this.
Don't need to include them.
I know, but I mean, don't have to.
If a Vermonter was raising rabbits and not solely for personal use, but for sale. So we're looking at language here that for the poultry includes, you know, sale is, you know, is permitted. If they sold, as soon as they sold more than $2,000 worth of rabbits, they automatically become subject to the RAPs and regulated by.
Yeah, I mean, potentially they would have to, you know, I mean, the secretary would have to find out about whether a petition or what have you, but yes.
Regardless of parcel size.
Regardless of parcel size. Well, I guess no, that's not quite. So the raising, feeding, or management of livestock on less than 1 acre is subject to municipal regulation, you know, regardless of its effect. So it would have to meet one of the other criteria if it was on a very small parcel. And I'd have to refresh my recollection, but on very small parcels, it's harder to get subject to the RAPs.
It wouldn't necessarily need to be, it could be a Schedule F, or it could be $2,000 total for farm income, so you might.
Let me just kind of.
Vegetable garden and sell $1,500 worth of vegetables.
I think that's true. It's the total farm goods, because like for my
You might
farm
not
stand,
use-
I didn't make it, but I did sell a mix of different things that came from my house and I made out of my garden.
In theory, somebody could have 4 rabbits in combination with
Selling jam and
other
other
things
stuff.
that make them qualify for the rabbits.
Right. Did you have something to add, Representative? on the internet.
We want to get educated by the internet.
I hesitate to encourage that.
Rat.
Yes, about the frequency of rabbit.
No, it has to do with they are harvestable after they reach 5 pounds, which is the ideal harvest weight very quickly.
Okay, all right. Bradley, then, look, is there anything else that's new in the bill since we?
No, I mean, the study that's in this bill is the study that's been in the bill. I think I Chair Durfee, you gave me a request to introduce maybe some other language or things of that sort. That's not in the bill yet.
Okay, yeah, the committee may remember that the Farmer Coalition had proposed different language. I don't want to say that it's slightly different, but it's different. And it doesn't involve the Secretary of Ag at the top. I think that was one difference. So, which I'm agnostic on or to, and Bradley will get it to you. We've seen it. I think it was presented to us. Other than that, I think you've covered everything.
Yes.
And just the or versus.
Yeah. Okay, so that was, yeah.
I'm also going to change this language here as large as to be not more than the just to conform.
Okay. Okay, and I was wondering actually about that.
So if you
It'd be better if it were less than, like.
Not more than. I mean, you could say less than the minimum number. I think not more than is probably the clearest one because you don't want to set it if it's 100 chickens is the threshold for the wraps. You want not more than 100 chickens, so you want it. Your chickens. I'll convert it to editors, but I need to change that. It can't be as large as, and so we'll just conform it to how we normally draft these languages.
Are you saying then that the word less is going away?
No, I'm saying I'm changing this. It's not going to be as large as. It's going to be either not more than or less than the number.
It's just a picky grammar thing. Less is not the right word.
Okay.
This would be fewer.
Okay.
Peeves.
You were gonna, somebody was gonna say that.
It drives me crazy. Colloquial English is weird, but.
I did run this section of the language by the agency, just to get a reaction, and the agency is supportive of the Senate language, but they've also been expressed an openness, a willingness to entertain other language that might improve the bill, and they seem to be on board with this. And Richard was part of that conversation too. Okay, so I think that, John's not here. I realize, I think he is, I don't think he would object to including rabbits when I spoke to him about it, but I think that he's also not strongly either way. My feeling is we want a bill that we can all get behind. I'm a little hesitant to include rabbits if so many people have either a concern about it or that, noting that we haven't heard that there's a problem that any town has prohibited raising rabbits. And if that becomes the case, it is something that we could, add in the future if it's prohibiting people from raising rabbits for their own consumption. All right. Why don't we pause here, take a short break just to make sure that, Bradley, if you want to make any changes now with this
Do you want to give me the study language or?
Yes, I'll give you that. Yeah. And then I know that the editors are not able to turn things around.
Probably.
So,
Do you, I mean, if you're going to vote on it today, I can probably turn around in an hour
okay.
if you'd like.
That would be, actually, John O'Brien can join us, I think, close to noon, so then we could have his vote too, if that's the case.
Maybe 11:50?
Why don't you, yeah, that's fine.
All right.
11:55?
We'll be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if you want to come a quarter of, and if they're not ready yet. Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay, sounds good.
And committee will, so we'll take a break unless anybody has anything else they want to say now. Does anybody have, and I want people to be able to digest this. Does anybody have any, like, are thinking, well, this is a concern I want to raise now?
Are we making the final vote at noon?
So if we can, I think it's, then we'll be able to move things along. I mean, I know that it feels like, oh, the session will never end, but it will end. So I suspect this will go to conference committee, and by the time it gets to the Senate, it'll be, it's probably Tuesday. They're not meeting Monday.
We're not meeting Monday, are we?
We are not. They'll have a token session. But
Okay, I was gonna say.
What's the status of 323? That's an appropriations.
That's in appropriation. Yeah.